Spoilers for Attack on Titan Season 4 and pretty much all of it. You have been warned. No spoilers for the manga though. Our story begins during the Battle of Gettysburg in 1942, where we see a bunch of children with guns sitting in a trench doing nothing. But then a brave woman decides to pull a Wonder Woman and cross through the no man's land and throw a bomb at the other side, winning the battle. This girl is named Gabby, and she and her twink friend Falco are celebrated like heroes back home, where we discover that these kids are Eldian soldiers working for Marley in the hopes that they can inherit one of the 9 Titans. Reiner notices that Falco is simming for Gabby and tells him to try and earn the Armored Titan so he can get it to her DMs. A couple days pass and Falco happens to run into a soldier at the hospital and feels sorry for him. The guy asks him to put a letter in the mailbox because he's not allowed to due to his probation, and the two get along swimmingly. After a training session with Commander Magath, Gabby and the gang go to a ceremony where Mr. Tiber is going to make a big announcement. Before the announcement starts, however, Falco meets up with Reiner and asks him to follow him to an underground room, where, surprise, the guy from the hospital is there. An even bigger surprise, his name is Eren Yeager. Reiner is shocked at this news and starts freaking out, but Eren leans in and says that you and I are the same, as he pulls out his tickets for the Barbie movie before transforming into a Titan, killing Tiber in the process. The crowd starts panicking and tries to run away, but Eren ain't having any of it and starts wailing on all of them, even killing Gabby and Falco's friends from the army. So Eren's just going ham on the entire city when one of Tiber's family members starts to transform into the Warhammer Titan until Eren does the unthinkable and attacks her mid-transformation. This man has truly gone off the cuff. So while they fight one another, we see the inheritors of the Cart and Jaw Titan, Peak and Porco, have been trapped in an underground hole by some randos, but are saved by a group of Peak simps. Just as they are being briefed on the situation, they see some mysterious people flying through the sky. Meanwhile, it looks like the Warhammer Titan has Eren on the ropes, when suddenly Mikasa shows up and fires a missile on her neck. Do you realize what you've done? Meh. Then the Warhammer Titan stands back up, revealing that the host is somewhere else. Luckily, Eren sees a cord on his foot, which he follows and eventually finds the real body, covered in a thick crystal. But just then, Porco comes in to stop Eren, but Levi comes and protects him. Then the Cart Beast Titan shows up and everyone just starts throwing hand. It's crazy. While that's happening, Gabby sees Sasha shoot a guy in front of her, and after running away, she eventually meets up with Falco and witness Armin transform into the Colossal Titan from a distance. Back to the Eren fight, we see him bodying Porco as he then picks him up and starts using him like a nutcracker to break through the Warhammer's Titan shell. This ends up working as he swallows the host and gets ready to bite down on Porco too, when depressed Reiner shows up and tries to stop him and gets bitch slapped and stays down. Unfortunately, all that bitch slapping tuckered him out, and Mikasa has to take him back to the giant blimp they used to arrive at Marley. Once inside, he's greeted by Levi, who kicks the shit out of him, and everyone else just watches. As the rest of the soldiers start to retreat to the blimp, Gabby manages to snipe one of them out of the air. She figures out that using his ODM gear, she could get up to the blimp and decides to get her revenge. Just before she goes, however, Falco grabs onto her, and together they sneak into the ship, where Gabby proceeds to do the most twisted and despicable thing any fictional character can do. She kills Sasha. Why is it always the hot ones? Now obviously these kids deserve to be thrown out of the blimp, but Jean decides to take them prisoner instead. Then they're taken to the room where Eren, Levi, and Zeke are chilling. Turns out Zeke is working with the Eldians and helped plan this whole operation. Eren and Zeke try to tell them that this attack was worth it now that they got both a founding Titan and a Titan of royal blood, but no one is having any of it. Connie comes in to confirm Sasha's death, and Jean blames Eren for her death. After all of that, we head into a flashback where we see a Marleyan spy ship get discovered by Eren and the gang, and as one of the soldiers is going to shoot at Hanji, another soldier betrays them and shoots them first. This person is named Yelena, and is revealed to be subscribed to Zeke's OnlyFans, and says that Zeke ordered him and the others to betray the other soldiers and help free Eldia. So time passes and these ex-soldiers start helping Eldia out to become more of a hip place to be, with ports and seafood and trains and a Tesla charging stations, you know. We then see Eren, Mikasa, and Armin talking about how they hope that Marley and Eldia can get along one day, and Armin says that the main thing they need is time. Eren retorts, however, by saying they gotta use force to keep him from messing with us. Back to the present, Armin vents to Annie about what just happened, and Levi and Zeke keep trying to be the world's sexiest power couple. I want to kill you so bad. How bad? I want to cut off all your limbs and have Armin turn into Colossal Titan and throw you like a baseball into the sun. Yeah. We then cut to Eren, who is trying to hype himself up in the mirror when Hanji interrupts him and says that that's kinda weird and starts to reminisce on when the port was finished, leading to another flashback where we see some Japanese royal people arrive at Eldia, and it was revealed that Mikasa is Japanese royalty. The Japanese people offer their support for Eldia when the Japanese lady proposes that they use the threat of the rumbling to ward off the other nations and have Historia inherit the Beast Titan. However, Eren refuses to rely on something like the rumbling. Back to the present, Hanji asks why he would do something so reckless like attack Marley, to which he replies, "Bitch, I do what I want." It drives her away. Then we see one of Sasha's simps mourn her loss, and Yelena delivers some Titan-making serum to Whitebeard, only for him to throw Yelena in jail as a safety precaution as Levi takes Zeke to the woods so he can watch over them. Meanwhile, Gabby and Falco escape prison when Falco tells Gabby to take off her armband. She says no, so he rips it off and Gabby beats the shit out of him. Shortly after, a random girl comes over and asks what they're doing. They lie and say they ran from home, so the girl asks if they want to come over to her house for some food, to which they accept. While they do that, a whole bunch of people start rioting outside, saying Eren should be free, as Hanji throws the one who leaked that Eren was in jail, Flock, in prison. Elsewhere, Gabby and Falco are helping around the mysterious girl's farm when she says that she knows that they're from Marley. Immediately, Gabby tries to kill her outright, but Falco stops her when an adult asks what's going on. But then the farm girl, Kaya, covers for them. They ask why she did that, and she takes them to their old village that was attacked by a Titan and says that her mom was eaten by that Titan. Gabby tries to argue that she deserved that because she was an Eldian and they committed sins in the past, but Kaya claps back and says, "Nuh-uh," which shuts down her entire argument. Then she talks about how a cool woman saved her and that she would take Gabby and Falco to a restaurant where Marlene could help them escape because she wants to be like that woman. After that, we see Armin and Mikasa asking a higher-up if they can meet with Eren, but he refuses. Mikasa doesn't trust him and starts to eavesdrop on him, but just then an explosion goes off in his room, killing him. After that, everyone gathers around to figure out who did it, and Armin says that he saw some Survey Corps recruits leave his room before they entered. Just then it's revealed that Eren has escaped prison and meets with Flock and the rest of this group known as the Jaegerists. Eren says that he needs to find Zeke. After a whole bunch of political talk, Gabby and Falco and the farm family are eating at Niccolo's restaurant, where after spotting him heading downstairs, Gabby and Falco make an excuse to leave the table and follow him. Once in the basement, they introduce themselves as warrior candidates, and that they need help to return to Marley. Niccolo asks them how they got here, and Gabby says that they snuck on their blimp and shot a female soldier. Niccolo, aka the Sasha simp who puts two and two together, tries to smack her with a bottle of wine, but Falco steps in and takes the hit like a G. Niccolo takes them back to the farm family, who is actually Sasha's family, and tells them about Gabby and Falco's true nature. He hands the father a knife, but the dad says that it's aight, and that Sasha was just wandering in the forest of life for too long. Now everyone is starting to calm down, except for Kaya, who tries to stab Gabby and blames her for killing her hero. Niccolo warns Hanji, who came in early, to rinse out Falco's mouth, because there was a little bit of wine in it. Hanji asks why, and Niccolo says he's underage and should not be drinking. Also, there's a little bit of Zeke's spinal fluid in it, which is kind of not good. Because it turns out that the Jaegers have put Zeke's fluids in all the wine at this restaurant, which will turn everyone who drank it into Titans when Zeke screams loud enough. Everyone starts freaking out, and Flock shows up with a bunch of grunts and reveals that he helped orchestrate this. Mikasa and Armin show up and talk to Gabby in another room about what they're gonna do with her. Then out of nowhere, Eren pulls up. He sits down and starts bragging about he's free and that Armin is a useless beta cuck who helps the enemy now, and Mikasa is a spineless bitch who clings to him because of some genetic phenomenon. Then he says that he's always hated Mikasa, which makes Armin start throwing hands, and immediately gets bodied by Eren. Like, god damn. Meanwhile, Levi decides that he's had enough of Zeke's attitude, and says that he's gonna feed him to a Titan, but as soon as he's gonna do it, he yells and turns all Levi's comrades who have been drinking some wine into Titans. Zeke thinks this will buy him enough time to escape, but Levi has other plans for him. An epic clash ensues, which results in Levi dragging Zeke out of his Titan form and taking him to a cart, where he's strapped to a bomb that will go off if he moves too much. However, Zeke decides to YOLO it and shouts anyway, blowing up the car. Shortly after that, Flock and the others, who also have Hanji hostage, stumble on the scene, and Hanji finds Levi's body. Convinced he's alive, she escapes with him through a river. At the same time, Zeke stands back up and says that he saw a girl recreating his body. It is also revealed at this point that Zeke and Eren's plan is to use the Founding Titan's power to euthanize every Eldian in the world so future generations can't turn into Titans. Meanwhile, we see Eren visiting Gabby in a cell, when out of nowhere, Pete comes in to save her, but then Aaron uses his Riz to convince Peek to work with him. She takes Peek and Gabby to the roof and to make her point out where the enemy is, and she points right at him. Then we see that all the Marley boys are back in action, are ready to kick some ass! Yelena comes out and warns Aaron that the odds are not in his favor, but knowing his gay lover, I mean best ex-friend, is in front of him, he goes all in. Everyone starts ganging up on him, but he holds his own for a little while, but eventually Reiner gets him on the ropes, until big bro Zeke makes the save! Meanwhile, thanks to my main man on Yogapone, Armin and the others are freed and decide the best course of action right now is to help Aaron and Zeke. Then we see Gabby and the other peeps from Marley save Falco, and while hiding out, Gabby finally realizes that maybe, just maybe, the people on this island aren't all devils. Shocking, I know. Back to the big fight, Commander McGath shoots down the big monkey and he falls to the ground. With Zeke being so close, Aaron tries to make a mad dash to him so he can touch him, but Reiner keeps on holding him back. Zeke is about to scream and turn everyone who drank the wine in the city into titans when Falco comes in and begs him to stop and says that he drank some of the wine.
But please! Don't turn my little brother into a monster!
Now everyone is becoming a titan, and Falco in his titan form attacks Reiner. Porco sees this and decides to one-up Reiner one last time and let Falco eat him, turning him back to normal. During all of that, Aaron gets out of the Ava and tries running to Zeke. Oh my lord, he's about to do it! He's finally gonna win! Well, shucks. However, out of sheer luck, Aaron's decapitated head just so happens to land on Zeke's hand, and him and Zeke are transported to the paths. Ymir, the founder, comes over them, and Zeke says that only Aaron could command the founder, and asks him to command the founder to euthanize all the Eldians. However, Aaron takes out his Uno Reverse card and reveals that he doesn't care about the euthanization plan, and only helped Zeke so we can make it this far. Unfortunately for Aaron, however, Zeke also had an Uno Reverse card, and reveals that he is the one who has the power to command Ymir, and was just testing him. Convinced that this is due to their father's brainwashing, Zeke takes Aaron on a trip through their father's memories. Although this kinda backfires on Zeke as he notices that their dad maybe wasn't as bad as he thought he was. We then see their dad trying to convince the founding Titan user to destroy the Titans attacking the walls, but she refuses. He decides that the only course of action is to eat her and gain the power for himself, but in a twist of fate, he can't go through with it. Zeke is dumbfounded seeing that this is not how the story went down, but then we see Aaron gaslight the shit out of him, convincing him to go through with it. He walks outside and asks why Aaron made him do this, and then asks Zeke, who is in front of him and can also see now, to stop Aaron, and apologizes for his rough childhood. The two wake back up in the paths, and with Zeke realizing that he made a grave mistake, commands Ymir to enact a plan. However, as Ymir walks towards the tree to do it, Aaron runs to her and holds her, telling her that she's not a slave nor a god, and that she's just a normal person, and that she can choose what to do for herself. We then snap back to reality where Aaron transforms into a giant goddamn bone demon as he activates all the titans that were stuck in the walls and starts marching away. Everyone is stunned at what's happening, but soon after, every Eldian gets transported to the Upside Down dimension, as Aaron tells everyone that he plans to protect the people of Parity by crushing the entire outside world with the power of the Titans. So everyone is in disbelief right now, but there's no time for that, cause Saul Goodman and a whole bunch of other Titans are rampaging the city. All the remaining soldiers start defending the city. Once things settle down for a bit, Gabby meets up with Armin and the gang looking for Falco. They say that Connie plans to feed him to his mom, and as she's asking him to stop him, we cut to an underground room, where we see Annie freed from her slumber. Once woken up, she eventually finds Hitch, who agrees to help her, and together they escape from the Colossal Titans. Meanwhile, Phlox tries to do some gang shit or something and starts killing everyone who is against Aaron. Outside the walls, Peek and McGath are figuring out what to do when they run into Hanji and Levi, who call for a truce. We then see Connie as he tries to feed Falco to his mom, but Armin says that's not cool, dude, and stops. Afterward, they stop by the city where they see Annie munching on some edibles. Then we see that Flock is about to kill my main man on Yokapone and Yelena. But luckily, with the help of the Levi squad, they manage to save them and find Reiner.
Wait the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
So after a little campfire bonding sesh, where they eat s'mores and play some Jenga, they head over to the port where they plan to steal a flying ship from the Jaegers and kick Aaron's ass. Unfortunately, their peaceful plan backfired, and are now forced to take the boat by force. Also, it turns out that they wouldn't be able to pair the flying ship in time, so now they have a new plan, which is to go to a base further up and prepare it there. As the battle rages on, Falco tries turning into a Titan but loses control and has to be cut out. As everyone is boarding the ship, Flock tries to go for the Hail Mary and sink it, but is sniped by Gabby and falls into the sea. Man, she really doesn't miss, does she? Magath and the other guys are forced to stay behind and sacrifice themselves so they can buy enough time for our intrepid heroes to escape. We then see that Eren has made it to the shores of Marley, as his army of Titans prepare to trample everything in their path. Back to the main party, they finally arrive at the hangar, where Annie reveals to Mikasa that she has a crush on my boy Armin, and decides not to get on the plane and stay behind. As everyone prepares to leave, Flock, who held onto the ship the entire time, shoots the plane and dies. What a legend. The engineers say that it will take an hour to fix it, but just then they look out and see an army of Colossal Titans heading their way. Hanji decides that the only way forward is to hold them off by herself, so she can buy everyone enough time. She appoints Armin as the new commander and says goodbye to everyone as she starts kicking some Titan ass before eventually burning up. The plane takes off as they steel themselves for the showdown against Eren to save the world. Armin wonders if they could maybe talk about this, but Eren then Skype calls everyone and says no. We cut to Eren about to destroy a group of survivors when the squad pulls up and starts to throw down. Armin asks how Eren thinks he's possibly free, and then nothing. That's the end of the season so far. Psych! Out of nowhere, Flock, who is revealed to be holding onto the plane the entire time, shoots Eren and saves the world! Woo!